So in John David Mann's and my latest book, The Go-Giver Influencer, principle number 5 is to let go of having to be right. And this is, of course, the most counterintuitive principle in the story. And people will often ask during interviews, does that have anything to do with ego? And the answer is, it has everything to do with ego. Because when we can let go of our attachment to being right, which again doesn't mean we don't want to be right, that we don't desire to be right, that we don't prefer to be right, that we're not going to prepare as best we can to be right. No, it just means we lose the emotional attachment to being right. It means that we're able to deal with those ego issues, and we're able to say, maybe I'm not 100% right, or maybe I'm all wrong. Maybe I should get more information. Maybe I should respectfully listen to this other person's point of view, which doesn't mean I have to agree with them, but I can listen, and I can open up to the idea that I might not be right. And this was, by the way, a bugaboo with me, because when I was younger, and I've gotten better at it in my old age, but it's still something I have to fight. I just hated to be wrong. I was that person who, even when I was proven wrong, I would find a way to kind of fight it. That was certainly not acceptable, and it was not productive for me or for those I dealt with. So when we let go of having to be right, here's what happens. We're able to allow the relationship between ego and emotion to be a positive one. I want to read something to you. This is something that Dan Goleman wrote in his book, Emotional Intelligence. This is, to me, it was absolutely brilliant. He wrote, the emotional mind takes its beliefs to be absolutely true, and so discounts any evidence to the contrary. That's why it's so hard to reason with someone who is emotionally upset. No matter the soundness of your argument from a logical point of view, it carries no weight if it is out of keeping with the emotional conviction of the moment. He then adds, feelings or emotions are self-justifying with a set of perceptions and proofs all their own. Well, this also brings us, I mean, that's powerful, emotional intelligence, Dan Goleman. So this brings us to the relationship between ego and cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias. What are those? Well, cognitive dissonance is when something that we believe, something in that we hold as a value, something in the way we are, is upset because we come across some new information that disturbs that and says it's not the truth. Okay, cognitive, of course, is thinking or believing. Dissonance is an incongruency. Okay, so let's go back to politics for a second. Let's say you really believe in a certain politician, and you have gotten behind this politician for years. You've sung their praises for years, and you believe in this politician. And then a report comes out, and by the way, I'm not talking about anyone in particular. This is totally generic. A report comes out that this person has done something horrible in their personal life. And it's something you cannot distinguish from politics. It's something that was a really bad thing. Well, there's a real dissonance now, right? Because you had such belief about this person. You held them in such high esteem. And now something comes to light that is just really bad or evil. Well, now you have a problem. That's cognitive dissonance. Because what you can do, if your ego gets in the way, you're going to just find a way to ignore it. Just like Dan Goleman was saying, right? You're going to find a way to totally ignore it. And you'll go on having belief about this person and feeling the same way, even though you know it's not true. And it's difficult to live that way and be happy, okay, in that particular area. Confirmation bias is related to that. It's sort of a cousin. Confirmation bias says that that when you come across some new information that confirms your already held beliefs or biases, you'll accept it as true. But if not, you'll simply ignore it. Again, this is ego coming into play, right? because we are making a choice here. For most people, it's unconscious, but it's a choice. It's a choice whether to live in truth or whether to live, with a lie. I'll share some cognitive dissonance on my part, and this is very personal to me because I'm still working through it. Cognitive dissonance. Okay, I am an animal lover. I'm an animal fanatic. A lot of people know that about me. That's no surprise. But I have never been a vegan or vegetarian. Well, a few years ago, it started to really hit. I'd never really given it much thought, by the way. Just hadn't thought about it until a few years ago when I really started to discover how badly animals are treated in the process. And when I just, came to realize that, I'm eating a living thing that, had no choice. And so now, by the way, I'm not making a statement about whether one shouldn't, but that's not the issue. Dissonance. Okay. So my belief was, yeah, it's okay. I can love animals, but still eat them and so forth. Uh, and then when I kind of realized I'm not right, again, my opinion that I'm not right in doing this, yet I love to eat and love foods that do come from animals. Well, there's a real cognitive dissonance there. If I'm going to accept the truth of the situation, that there is a dissonance, uh, I've got to now deal with that. Okay. Now, I have just between us, I mean, I've cut down a lot of the meat I eat. And I don't buy anything that to wear that's animal that I can possibly help. And again, my eating has changed that I've gone much more vegetarian, not even close to vegan yet, but I continue to work at that. But I'll say this every time, and this is why I say I'm working through it. Every time I eat something that is meat or fish or chicken or what have you, even though I do it far less now, I feel guilty about it. There's a cognitive dissonance, and I'm not going to allow my ego to let me live with non-truth regarding my beliefs. Even as I'm doing it, I feel it's wrong. Okay. Now, again, I'm not asking for any, oh, that's okay, Bob, or anything like that. No, it has nothing to do with that. I'm just showing you where cognitive dissonance, when we allow our ego to work effectively, uh, can kind of be uncomfortable. And so we've got to make that choice. Sometimes it's just easier for us to just let the ego say, no, it's okay, don't think about it. But to me, thinking about it's not an option. So as I'm working through it and going more, I suspect one day I probably will be vegan. um, I'm still searching for ways to be able to do that and keep strength and doing all those different things, blah blah blah. But the cognitive dissonance is there. um, okay, so